Noun. Definition of a noun. A noun is a word used as the name of a person, place, animal, thing, or idea. For example, person, like teacher, doctor, Ria. Place, like school, city, India. Animal, like dog, lion, cow. Thing, like book, pen, table. Idea or quality, like love, honesty, happiness. Rahul is reading a book. Here, Rahul and book are noun. The dog is running in the park. Here, dog and park are noun. Honesty is the best policy. Here, honesty is a noun. Types of a noun. There are five main types of nouns. First one is proper noun. A proper noun is the specific name of a particular person, place, or thing. It always begins with a capital letter. For example, person like Rahul, Riya, Amit. Place like Delhi, London, India. Thing like Himalayas, Amazon River, Taj Mahal. Rahul lives in Delhi. Here, Rahul and Delhi are proper noun. The Taj Mahal is in India. Here, Taj Mahal and India are proper noun. Common noun. A common noun is the general name of a person, place, animal, or thing. For example, person like boy, girl, teacher. Place like city, village, school. Animal like dog, cat, lion. Thing like book, pen, table. The boy is playing. Here, boy is a common noun. She goes to school every day. Here, school is a common noun. Collective noun. A collective noun refers to a group of people, animals, or things. For example, team, group of players. Class, group of students. Herd, group of animals. Crowd, group of people. Fleet, group of ships. Bunch, group of grapes. The team won the match. Here, team is a collective noun. A herd of cows is grazing. Here, herd is a collective noun. Abstract noun. An abstract noun refers to qualities, feelings, ideas, states that cannot be seen or touched. For example, love, feeling of affection, honesty, quality of being honest, happiness, state of being happy, bravery, courage, freedom, liberty. Honesty is a great virtue. Here, honesty is an abstract noun. Happiness is important in life. Happiness is an abstract noun. Material noun. A material noun refers to substances or materials from which things are made. For example, gold, silver, iron, wood, cotton, water. The ring is made of gold. Here, gold is a material noun. The table is made of wood. Wood is a material noun. Countable and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns. These nouns can be counted. For example, book, apple, pen, chair, student. I have three books. Three books are countable nouns. She bought two apples. Two apples is a countable noun. Uncountable nouns. These nouns cannot be counted individually. For example, water, milk, sugar, rice, information, advice. Please give me some water. Some water is uncountable noun. I need some advice. Some advice is uncountable noun. Number of nouns. Nouns have two numbers. Singular number. A noun that refers to one person, place, animal, or thing. For example, boy, girl, book, dog. The boy is running. Here, boy is a singular number. Plural number. A noun that refers to more than one person or thing. For example, boys, girls, books, dogs. The boys are playing. Boys is a plural number. Rules for making plural nouns. Add s, book, books, pen, pens, boy, boys. Add es, used for nouns ending in s, x, z, ch, sh. For example, bus, buses, box, boxes, watch, watches. Change y into ies. For example, city, cities, baby, babies, lady, ladies. Change f or fe into ves. For example, leaf, leaves, knife, knives, wife, wives. Irregular plurals. For example, man, man, woman, woman, child, children, tooth, teeth, foot, feet, mouse, mice. Gender of nouns. Gender shows male or female. Masculine gender refers to male. For example, boy, king, father, lion. Feminine gender refers to female. For example, girl, queen, mother, lioness. Common gender refers to both male and female. For example, teacher, student, child, friend. Neuter gender refers to non-living things. For example, book, table, car, tree. Possessive nouns. Possessive nouns show ownership or possession. For example, Rahul's book, Riya's bag, teacher's pen. This is Rahul's book. Here, Rahul's is a possessive noun. Functions of nouns in sentences. A noun can perform different roles in a sentence. For example, subject, the noun performing the action. Rahul plays cricket. Here, Rahul is a subject. Object, the noun receiving the action. For example, she reads a book. Book is an object. Complement, it gives more information about the subject. For example, she is a teacher. Teacher is a complement. Noun phrase. A noun phrase is a group of words that functions as a noun. For example, the big house, a beautiful garden, the intelligent student. The tall boy is my brother. Here, the tall boy is a noun phrase. Pronoun. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun in a sentence. For example, Ria is a good student. She studies hard. Here, she is a pronoun. Rahul has a bike. He rides it daily. Here, he is a pronoun. Here, she replaces Ria. He replaces Rahul. Without pronouns, sentences would sound repetitive and awkward. Types of pronouns. There are 10 types of pronouns. Personal pronoun, possessive pronoun, reflexive pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, interrogative pronoun, reflective relative pronoun, indefinite pronoun, distributive pronoun, reciprocal pronoun, emphatic pronoun. Personal pronouns. Personal pronouns refer to people, animals, or things. These are I, me, we, us, you, he, she, it, him, her, they, them. For example, I am a teacher. I is a personal pronoun. You are my friend. You is a personal pronoun. He is playing cricket. He is a personal pronoun. She is reading a book. She is a personal pronoun. They are going to school. Here, they is a personal pronoun. Subject pronouns used as the subject of a sentence. These are I, you, he, she, it, we, they. For example, I am happy. She sings well. They are students. Object pronouns used as the object of a verb or preposition. These are me, you, him, her, it, us, them. For example, Ram called me. I met him yesterday. She invited us. Possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns show ownership or possession. List of possessive pronouns are mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, theirs. For example, this book is mine. That house is hers. The car is theirs. That dog is yours. Reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and object are the same person. They end with self or selves. For example, myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. For example, I hurt myself. She cooked the food herself. They enjoyed themselves. Demonstrative pronouns. These pronouns point to specific things. Demonstrative pronouns are this, that, these, those. For example, this is my book. That is your house. These are apples. Those are birds. This is used for near and singular thing. These for near and plural things. That for far and singular things. Those is used for far and plural things. Interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions. Main interrogative pronouns are who, whom, whose, which, what. For example, who is calling? Whose bag is this? Which is your car? What are you doing? Relative pronouns. Relative pronouns connect two sentences and give more information about the noun. These are who, whom, which, that, whose. For example, the boy who is playing is my brother. The book which you gave me is interesting. The girl whose bag was lost is crying. Indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns refers to people or things in a general way. For example, someone, anyone, everyone, nobody, something, everything, many, few. For example, someone is knocking at the door. Everyone liked the movie. Nobody was present. Distributive pronouns. These pronouns refers to members of a group individually. These are each, either, neither. For example, each of the boys received a prize. Either of these pens will work. Neither of the answers is correct. Reciprocal pronouns. These pronouns show mutual action between two or more people. These are each other, one another. For example, the friends helped each other. The players congratulated one another. Emphatic pronouns used to emphasize a noun or a pronoun. They look the same as reflexive pronouns. For example, I myself completed the work. She herself opened the door. The principal himself checked the papers. Important pronoun rules. First one is after than and as. Use subject pronoun. She is taller than I. Second, pronouns must agree with nouns. For example, Every student must bring his or her book. Third, use who for subject and whom for object. For example, who called you? Whom did you meet? Common pronoun errors. Ria and I went to school. This book is hers. Practice questions. Ria is absent because she is ill. This house is mine. Who is knocking at the door? Quick revision summary. A pronoun is a word used in the place of a noun. Personal pronouns used for people or things like I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Possessive pronouns show ownership. For example, mine, yours, hers, his, ours, theirs. Reflexive pronouns action done to oneself. For example, myself, herself, himself, ourselves. Demonstrative pronouns point out things. For example, this, that, these, those. Interrogative pronouns used to ask questions. For example, who, what, which, whom. Relative pronouns join sentences. For example, who, this is the boy who won. Where, I know the place where we met. Which, she has a pen which is blue. Indefinite pronouns, not specific. For example, someone, everyone, nothing, many. Adjective. An adjective is a word that describes or modifies noun or pronoun. It tells us more about a person, place, animal, or thing. It adds information to a noun or a pronoun. For example, she is a beautiful girl. Here, beautiful is an adjective. It is a big house. Big is an adjective. He is a smart student. Smart is an adjective. Adjectives answer questions like what kind of, which one, how many, how much. Types of adjectives. There are 8 main types of adjectives. Adjective of quality, adjective of quantity, adjective of number, demonstrative adjective, interrogative adjective, possessive adjective, proper adjective, distributive adjective. Adjective of quality. These adjectives describe the quality or nature of a noun. Common adjectives: good, bad, tall, short, brave, clever, happy. For example, she is a kind woman. It is a beautiful flower. He is an honest man. Rahul is a brave boy. Adjective of quantity. These adjectives show how much of something. It is used mainly with uncountable nouns. These are some, much, little, enough, sufficient, whole. For example, I have some money. She drink little water. We need enough food. There is little milk in the glass. Adjective of number. These adjectives show how many persons or things. Types. Cardinal numbers. These are 1, 2, 3, etc. For example, I have 2 brothers. Ordinal numbers like first, second, third. For example, she stood first in the class. Indefinite numbers like many, few, several, some. For example, many students were absent. Demonstrative adjective. These adjectives point out specific nouns. These are this, that, these, those. For example, this book is mine. That boy is my friend. These apples are fresh. Those houses are old. Interrogative adjective. These adjectives are used to ask questions. These are what, which, whose. For example, which book is yours? What subject do you like? Whose pen is this? Possessive adjective. These adjectives show possession or ownership. These are my, your, his, her, its, your, our, their. For example, my bag is blue. Her dress is beautiful. Their house is big. Proper adjectives. These adjectives are formed from proper nouns. For example, India is a noun, proper noun. Indian, proper adjective. America is a proper noun, American adjective. Japanese. I like Indian food. Here, Indian is an adjective. Distributive adjectives. These adjectives refers to each member of a group individually. For example, each, every, either, neither. Each student received a book. Every child was happy. Either answer is correct. Neither road leads to the village. Degree of comparison. Adjectives have 3 degrees of comparison: positive, comparative, superlative. Tall, taller, tallest. Big, bigger, biggest. Happy, happier, happiest. Small, smaller, smallest. For example, Rahul is tall. Sham is taller than Ram. Mohan is tallest boy. Order of adjectives. When multiple adjectives come together, they follow a specific order. They like opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, noun. For example, she bought a beautiful small old round red Indian wooden table. A beautiful red dress. Verb. A verb is a word that expresses action, state, possession, or feeling. For example, she runs fast. The baby cries loudly. He is happy. They have a car. Here, runs, cries, is, have are verbs. Verbs are called the heart of a sentence because a sentence cannot exist without a verb. For example, she sings beautifully is a correct subject with verb sings. She beautifully. There is no verb and this is not a correct subject. Correct sentence. Functions of a verb. Verbs perform several functions like it shows action, it shows state of being, it shows possession, it shows feeling and thinking, it indicates time. For example, action. She writes a letter. State. He is happy. Possession. She has a car. Feeling. I love music. Thinking. I believe you. Classification of verbs. Types. Main verb, auxiliary verb, transitive verb, intransitive verb, linking verb, regular verb, irregular verb, finite verb, non-finite verb, stative verb, dynamic verb, modal verb. Main verb or principal verb. A main verb expresses the main action or state. For example, she reads books. They eat dinner. He sings well. She is reading a book. Reading is a main verb, is a helping verb. Auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Auxiliary verbs help the main verb. Types of auxiliary verbs: primary auxiliaries, modal auxiliaries. Primary auxiliary verbs. These include be. For example, am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. For example, she is dancing. They were playing. Have, like have, has, had. For example, she has finished her work. They had completed the task. Do, like do, does, did. Used for questions, negatives, emphasis. For example, do you like tea? She does not agree. I do understand you. Modal verbs. Modal verbs expresses ability, possibility, permission, obligation, or advice. These are can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, would, ought to, need, dare. For example, for ability, she can swim. Permission, may I come in? Possibility, it might rain today. Advice, you should study harder. Obligation, you must follow the rules. Transitive verbs. A transitive verb requires an object. For example, she bought a phone. Here, bought is a verb, phone is an object. He wrote a letter. They cleaned the room. Wrote is a verb, letter is an object. Cleaned is a verb, room is an object. Intransitive verbs. These verbs do not need an object. For example, the baby cried. We don't need any object here. The birds fly. She laughed. The meaning is complete without an object here. Linking verbs. Linking verbs connect the subject to a complement. They do not show action. Common linking verbs are be, seem, become, appear, look, feel, taste, smell. For example, she is happy. The soup tastes delicious. He became a doctor. Regular verbs. Regular verbs form their past tense by adding ed. For example, work, worked, worked. Play, played, played. Watch, watched, watched. She worked hard. Irregular verbs. Irregular verbs do not follow the ed pattern. For example, go, went, gone. Take, took, taken. Eat, ate, eaten. See, saw, seen. For example, he went to Delhi yesterday. Finite verbs. Finite verbs change according to subject and tense. For example, she plays football. They play football. We use as with she and we didn't use for plural. We didn't use as or yes with plural. The verb changes based on the subject. Non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs do not change according to subject or tense. These are infinitive, gerund, participle. Infinitive. To plus verb. For example, I want to learn English. She likes to dance. Gerund. Gerund, verb plus ing. Used as noun. For example, reading improves knowledge. Swimming is good exercise. Participle. Participle act like an adjective. For example, the crying child needs milk. Crying child. The broken chair is useless. Broken chair. Participle acts like an adjective here. Types: present participle with ing, past participle with ed and irregular form. Stative verbs. These verbs describe states, emotions, thoughts, or possessions. For example, love, hate, know, believe, own, understand. I know the answer. She loves music, usually not used in continuous tense. Dynamic verbs. Dynamic verbs show physical action. For example, run, jump, eat, play, write. She is running in the park. Verb forms. Every verb has three verb forms. Verb, first form of verb, second form of verb, third form of verb. Go, went, gone. Eat, ate, eaten. Write, wrote, written. Speak, spoke, spoken. Adverb. An adverb is a word that modifies or describes a verb, adjective, or another adverb. It usually tells us how, when, where, how often, and to what extent something happens. For example, she sings beautifully. He runs fast. They arrived yesterday. She is very intelligent. Here, beautifully, fast, yesterday, very are adverbs. Formation of adverbs. Many adverbs are formed by adding ly to adjectives. For example, quick, quickly, slow, slowly, happy, happily, careful, carefully, she speaks clearly, he works carefully. Here, clearly and carefully are adverbs. Some exceptions. Some adverbs do not end in ly. For example, fast, hard, well, late, early. He runs fast. She works hard. We use that as it is. Types of adverbs. There are six types of adverbs: adverb of manner, adverb of time, adverb of place, adverb of frequency, adverb of degree, adverb of interrogative adverb. Adverb of manner. These adverbs describe how an action happens. They answer the question how. For example, slowly, quickly, happily, carefully, loudly. She sings beautifully. The boy runs quickly. He spoke politely. Adverb of time. These adverbs tell when an action happens. For example, today, tomorrow, yesterday, now, soon, later. I will meet you tomorrow. She arrived late. He finished the work yesterday. Adverb of place. These adverbs tell where an action happens. For example, here, there, everywhere, outside, upstairs, nearby. She looked everywhere. The children are playing outside. Come here. Adverb of frequency. These adverbs tell how often an action happens. For example, always, often, usually, sometimes, rarely, never. She always wakes up early. He often visits his grandparents. They never tell lies. Adverb of degree. These adverbs tell how much or to what extent something happens. For example, very, quite, too, enough, almost, completely. She is very smart. The water is too cold. He is quite tired. Interrogative adverbs. These adverbs are used to ask questions. For example, when, where, why, how. When will you come? Where do you live? Why are you late? How did you solve the problem? Relative adverbs. Relative adverbs connect two clauses. For example, where, when, why. This is the place where I was born. I remember the day when we met. Do you know the reason why he left? Comparison of adverbs. Like adjectives, some adverbs have degree of comparison. positive, comparative, superlative. Fast, faster, fastest. Hard, harder, hardest. Soon, sooner, soonest. For example, she runs fast. She runs faster than me. She runs the fastest in the class. Position of adverbs in a sentence. The position of an adverb can vary. In the beginning, for example, yesterday I met him. Middle, she always studies at night and he spoke politely. Adverb versus adjective. Adjective describes noun. For example, she is a quick learner. Adverb describes verb. For example, she runs quickly. Quick is an adjective. Quickly is an adverb. Practice questions. She sings beautifully. He works hard. They arrived yesterday. She is very intelligent. How did you come here? Preposition. A preposition is a word placed before a noun or a pronoun to show its relation with another word in a sentence. For example, the book is on the table. She is sitting under the tree. He is going to the school. Here, on is used for position, under used for place, to used for direction. Types of prepositions. Prepositions can be divided into several types. Preposition of time, preposition of place, preposition of direction, preposition of manner, preposition of agent or instrument, phrase preposition. Prepositions of time. These prepositions show time. These are at, on, in, during, for, since, before, after. Use of at. It is used for exact time. For example, the meeting starts at 5 pm. She wakes up at 6 o'clock. Use of on. It is used for days and dates. For example, I will meet you on Monday. Her birthday is on 10 July. Use of in. It is used for months, years, centuries, and long periods. For example, she was born in 2000. He traveled in December. India got independence in 1947. Other time prepositions. I studied for 2 hours. She has lived here since 2015. We met after the class. For is used for period of time, since is used for point of time. Prepositions of place. These prepositions show location or position. These are in, on, at, under, above, below, between, among. For example, the keys are on the table. The dog is under the chair. She lives in Delhi. The picture is above the door. Between versus among. Between is used for two things. For example, the shop is between bank and school. Among. It is used for more than two. For example, she was sitting among her friends. Prepositions of direction and movement. These prepositions show movement from one place to another. For example, to, into, onto, from, out of, towards. She is going to the market. The cat jumped onto the table. He came from Mumbai. The dog ran towards the gate. Prepositions of manner. These prepositions show how something happens. For example, by, with, like, in. He traveled by bus. She cut the fruit with the knife. He bought like a hero. Prepositions of agent or instrument. It is used in passive voice. For example, by, with. The book was written by Shakespeare. The window was broken with a stone. Phrase prepositions. These are group of words that act like a preposition. For example, because of, in spite of, according to, in front of, instead of. He failed because of illness. She succeeded in spite of difficulties. The car is parked in front of the house. Pre- Prepositions with common verbs. Many verbs are followed by specific prepositions. For example, depend on, believe in, listen to, look at, belong to. She depends on her parents. I believe in hard work. Listen to the teacher carefully. Practice questions. The cat is under the table. She was born in 2001. He is going to school. Divide the sweets among the children. She is sitting among her friends. She discussed the problems. He entered the room. I prefer tea to coffee. Conjunction. A conjunction is a word used to join words, phrases, or clauses together. For example, Ram and Sham are friends. She was tired, but she finished the work. If I will come if you invite me. Here, and is used for addition, but used for contrast, if used for condition. So, and, but, if, these are conjunctions. Types of conjunctions. There are three main types of conjunctions: coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, correlative conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions. These conjunctions connect words, phrases, or clauses of equal grammatical importance. For example, she likes tea and coffee. Both elements have equal importance. The seven coordinating conjunctions are fanboy, F for reason, A for and, addition, B for but, contrast, O for or, choice, Y for yet, contrast, S for so, result, and for no, negative, addition. And used for addition, used to add similar ideas. For example, she bought apples and bananas. Ram and Sham went to school. But used for contrast, it shows opposite or contrast. For example, he is poor but honest. She studied hard but failed. Or used for choice, shows alternatives or options. For example, you may take tea or coffee. Study hard or you will fail. So, used for result. It shows result or consequence. For example, it was raining. So, we stayed home. She was ill. So, she did not attend the school. 4. Used for reason. It is similar to because. For example, he must be tired for he has been working all the day. Yet, used for contrast. It shows contrast similar to but. Example, she is old yet she works hard. Nor is used for negative addition, used after a negative statement. For example, she does not drink tea nor coffee. Subordinating conjunctions. These conjunctions join main clause and subordinate clause. A subordinate clause cannot stand alone. For example, I stayed home because it was raining. Main clause is I stayed home here. Subordinate clause because it was raining. Types of subordinating conjunctions are they show relationships such as time, cause, condition, purpose, comparison, contrast. Conjunctions of time, for example, when, while, before, after, since, till, until. I was sleeping when he arrived. She finished her work before dinner. Wait here until I return. Conjunctions of clause or reason, for example, because, since, as. She was absent because she was sick. Since you are tired, take some rest. Conjunctions of condition, for example, if, unless, provided that. I will help you if you ask. You cannot pass unless you study. Conjunctions of purpose, for example, so that, in order that. She studied hard so that she can succeed. Conjunctions of comparison, for example, than, as. She is taller than me. He is as strong as his brother. Conjunctions of contrast, for example, although, though, even though. Although he is rich, he is unhappy. Though it was raining, we went out. Correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions work in pairs. They connect words or groups of equal importance. For example, either or, neither nor, both and, not only but also, whether or. For example, you cannot choose either tea or coffee. You can choose either tea or coffee. Neither Ram nor Sham was present. Both Ria and Neha are intelligent. She is not only beautiful but also intelligent. I don't know whether he will come or not. Conjunction versus proposition. Conjunction. It joins clauses. For example, I stayed home because it rained. Preposition. It connects noun or pronoun. For example, I stayed home because of rain. Practice exercise. She likes tea and coffee. I stayed home because it was raining. Neither Ram nor Sham was present. I will help you if you ask. Although he was tired, he continued working. Sudden emotion, such as surprise, joy, pain, anger, excitement. Interjections are usually followed by an exclamation mark. For example, wow, this is amazing. Alas, he lost the match. Oh, I forgot my keys. Hooray, we won the game. Here the words wow, alas, oh, hooray express emotions. Characteristics of interjections. They express sudden feelings and emotions. They are often followed by exclamation mark. They are often placed at the beginning of the sentence. For example, oops, I dropped the glass. Types of interjections. Interjections can express different emotions. Main types of interjections are interjection of joy, interjection of sorrow, interjection of surprise, interjection of approval, interjection of greeting, interjection of attention, interjection of pain, interjection of disgust. Interjection of joy. These interjections express happiness, pleasure, excitement. For example, hooray, hooray, wow, bravo, hooray, we won the match. Wow, this painting was beautiful. Bravo, you performed very well. Interjection of sorrow. It expresses sadness and grief. For example, alas, oh no. Alas, the old man died. Oh no, I lost my wallet. Interjection of surprise. Used when something unexpected happens. For example, oh, what? Ah, oh, you are here. What? You passed the exam? Interjection of approval. These express agreement or praise. For example, well done, bravo, excellent. Well done, you solved the problem. Excellent, your work is perfect. Interjection of greeting. Used when welcoming or greeting someone. For example, hello, hi, hey. Hello, how are you? Hi, nice to see you. Interjection of attention used to get someone's attention. For example, listen, look, hey, listen, I want to say something. Look, the rainbow is beautiful. Interjection of pain express pain or discomfort. For example, ouch, oh, ah, ouch, that hurts. Oh, my hand is injured. Interjection of disgust express dislike or disgust. For example, oh, yeah. Oh, this food tastes terrible. Yeah, the milk is spoiled. Common interjections list. Oh, ah, wow, alas, oops, hey, hooray, brave, ouch. Yeah, well, hello. Practice questions. Wow, this is beautiful. Alas, the soldier died. Ouch, that hurts. Hooray, we won the match. Oops, I forgot the answer. Wow, this place is amazing. Oops, I made a mistake. Hey, wait for me. Alas, the plan failed. Voice. Voice is the form of a verb that shows whether the subject does the action or receives the action. There are two types of voice, active voice and passive voice. Active voice. In active voice, the subject performs the action. Structure subject, verb, object. For example, Ram wrote a letter. She cooked the food. The teacher explained the lesson. The subject is doing the action here. Passive voice. In passive voice, the subject receives the action. Structure object, helping verb, past participle by subject. For example, active voice. Ram wrote a letter. Passive, a letter was written by Ram. She cooked the food. The food was cooked by her. Active voice in different tenses. Present tense, simple present. She writes a letter. A letter is written by her. Structure is am are plus verb third form. Present continuous. She is writing a letter. A letter is being written by her. Structure is am are plus being plus third form of verb. Present perfect. She has written a letter. A letter has been written by her. Structure has or have plus been plus third form of verb. Past tense. Simple past. She wrote a letter. A letter was written by her. Structure was or were plus third form of verb. Past continuous. She was writing a letter. A letter was being written by her. Structure was or were plus being plus verb third form. Past perfect. She had written a letter. A letter had been written by her. Structure had been plus third form of verb. Future tense. Simple future. She will write a letter. A letter will be written by her. Structure will be plus third form of verb. Passive voice with modal verbs. Modal plus be plus verb third form. She can solve the problem. The problem can be solved by her. They must follow the rules. The rules must be followed by them. When by plus subject is omitted, sometimes the doer is unknown or unimportant. For example, the thief was arrested. Not necessary to mention by police. English is spoken all over the world. Active to passive voice. Interrogative sentence. For example, did she write the letter? Was the letter written by her? Active to passive imperative sentence. Open the door. Let the door be opened. Finish the work. Let the work be finished. Active to passive with two objects. For example, she gave me a book. Two possible sentences can be I was given a book by her. A book was given to me by her. Both are correct. Always use third form of verb in passive voice. Past participle. For example, write, written, eat, eaten, make, made. Pronouns change in passive voice. Active passive. I, me, we, us, he, him, she, her, they, them. For example, she helped me. I was helped by her. Practice questions. She wrote a letter. A letter was written by her. They built the bridge. The bridge was built by them. He will finish the work. The work will be finished by him. She has cleaned the room. The room has been cleaned by her. The teacher explained the lesson. The lesson was explained by the teacher. Sentence. A sentence is a group of words that makes complete sense and expresses a complete thought. A sentence always has a subject and a predicate. She reads books. The sun rises in the east. They are playing football. Here, she, the sun, they. They are subject. And remaining part is predicate. These sentences express complete meaning. Example of noun sentence. For example, running in the park. Very beautiful flower. These are phrases, not sentences, because they do not express a complete idea. Parts of a sentence. Every sentence has two main parts, subject, predicate. The subject tells who or what sentence is about. For example, Ria is singing. Here, Ria is the subject. Predicate. Predicate tells something about the subject. For example, Ria is singing. Here, is singing is predicate. Subject, predicate. The boy is subject is playing predicate. The sun, subject, rises in the east, predicate. My mother, subject, cooks delicious food, predicate. Types of sentences by meaning. There are 5 types of sentences: assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence, exclamatory sentence, optative sentence. Assertive sentence. An assertive sentence states a fact, opinion, or statement. These sentences end with full stop. For example, she is a teacher. The earth revolves around the sun. They live in Delhi. Assertive sentences can be positive, like, for example, she likes coffee. Negative, she doesn't like coffee. Interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence asks a question, ends with question mark. For example, where do you live? Are you ready? What is your name? Types of interrogative sentences. Yes or no questions. For example, do you like tea? WH questions. For example, where do you live? Imperative sentence. An imperative sentence gives orders, advice, request, instructions. The subject is usually you. It's understood. For example, close the door. Please help me. Study hard. Do not waste time. Exclamatory sentence. An exclamatory sentence expresses strong emotions. It ends with exclamation sign. For example, what a beautiful flower. What a wonderful place. How wonderful place. How wonderful this place is. Wow, this is amazing. Optative sentence. An optative sentence expresses wish, prayer, or blessing. For example, may you live long. May God bless you. Wish you success. Types of sentences by structure. According to structure, sentences are four types: simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, compound complex sentence. Simple sentence. A simple sentence has one clause. For example, she reads books. The baby is sleeping. Structure: subject, verb, object. Here, she is a subject, reads is a verb, and books is a object. The baby is a subject, is a helping verb, and sleeping is an object. Compound sentences. A compound sentence has two independent clauses joined by conjunctions. Common conjunctions are and, but, or, so. For example, she was tired, but she continued working. I studied hard, but passed the exam. Complex sentence. A complex sentence has one main clause and one subordinate clause. For example, I stayed home because it was raining. Here, main clause I stayed home is a main clause, because it was raining is a subordinate clause. Compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence has two independent clauses and one or more subordinate clauses. For example, I went to the market and I bought fruits because we had guests. Sentence elements. A sentence may include subject, verb, object, complement, modifier. For example, she gave me a book. Here, she is a subject, gave verb, book, object, me, indirect object. Phrases versus clauses versus sentence. Phrase means group of words without subject or and verb. For example, in the room. Clause group of words with subject and verb. For example, when he arrived. Sentence complete thought. For example, he arrived late. Basic sentence structure: subject plus verb plus complement. She is happy. She is a subject, is verb, happy, complement. Important sentence rules. A sentence must have a verb. For example, she is very happy. A sentence must express complete meaning. For example, I slept because I was tired. First letter must be capital. For example, she is my friend. Practice questions. Identify the type of sentence. Where do you live? Interrogative sentence. Close the door. Imperative sentence. She is very happy. Assertive sentence. What a beautiful place! Exclamatory sentence. May God bless you. Optative sentence. Narration. Narration is the method of reporting the words spoken by someone. There are two ways to report speech: direct speech and indirect speech, or reported speech. Indirect speech. In indirect speech, is exact words of the speaker are written within quotation marks. Structure: reporting verb plus exact words of speaker. For example, Ram said, I am tired. She said, I like coffee. Characteristics: use quotation marks. Keep exact words. Use comma before quotation marks. Indirect speech or reported speech. Here we report the meaning of what someone said without using quotation marks. For example, she said, I am tired. She said that she was tired. Ram said, I like cricket. Ram said that he liked cricket. Parts of direct speech. There are two parts of direct speech. Reporting clause. It introduces the speech. For example, Ram said. Reported clause. The actual words are spoken here. For example, I am happy. Ram said, I am happy. Steps to change direct into indirect speech. There are four main changes: change of reporting verb, change of pronouns, change of tense, change of time and place words. Change of reporting verb. Reporting verb said many change depending on the sentence type. For example, for statement, said, told. For question, asked. For order, order or told. For request, requested. For advice, advised. For exclamation, exclaimed. For example, he said, open the door. For indirect, he told me to open the door. Change of pronouns. Pronouns change according to subject and object. For example, she said, I am tired. She said that she was tired. Here I changed into she. Pronoun change rules, direct into indirect. I will be he or she. We will be they. My will be his or her. Our will be their. Me will be his or her. For example, he said, I lost my book. He said that he had lost his book. Change of tense. Tense change table. Direct speech into indirect speech. Present simple into present past simple. Present continuous into past continuous. Present perfect into perfect past perfect. Past simple into past perfect. Will into would, can into could, may into might. For example, I said, I write a letter. We will change write into wrote. Here we will change am playing into was playing. Change of time and place. Words. Certain words change in direct speech. Direct, indirect. Now into then. Today into that day. Yesterday into the previous day. Tomorrow, the next day. Here, there. Ago, before. This, that, these, those. For example, he said, I will come tomorrow. He said that he would come the next day. Interrogative sentence or questions. When changing questions into indirect speech, use asked instead of said. Remove question form. Use if or whether for yes or no questions. For example, she said, do you like coffee? She asked if I liked coffee. She said, where do you live? She asked where I lived. Imperative sentences for orders, request, advice. Here, in imperative sentences, use to plus be, to plus verb to indirect speech. Order. For example, close the door. The teacher ordered us to close the door. For request, he said, please help me. He requested me to help him. For advice, she said, study hard. She advised me to study hard. Negative imperative sentences use not to plus verb. For example, she said, do not waste time. She advised me not to waste time. Exclamatory sentences use verbs like exclaimed with joy, exclaimed with sorrow, exclaimed with surprise. For example, she said, what a beautiful flower. She exclaimed with joy that it was a beautiful flower. When tense does not change. Tense does not change when reporting verb is in present or future. For example, I am tired. She says that she is tired. We didn't change tired. For universal truth. For example, the teacher said the sun rises in the east. The teacher said that the sun rises in the east. We didn't change this. Practice questions. She said, I am happy. She said that she was happy. He said, I will come tomorrow. He said that he would come the next day. She said, do you like tea? She asked if I liked tea. The teacher said, work hard. The teacher advised us to work hard. She said, what a beautiful place. She exclaimed with joy that it was a very beautiful place. Tense. Tense means time. It is a form of verb that indicates the time of an action or state. It comes from Latin word tempus, means time. For example, she plays tennis is a present tense. She played tennis, past tense. She will play tennis, future tense. Main tenses in English. There are three primary tenses: present, past, future. Each tense has four aspects: simple, continuous या progressive, perfect, perfect continuous. So, total 12 tenses. Complete tense chart. Present tense. Present simple. Subject plus verb, first form. She writes. Present continuous. Subject plus is-mr plus ing. For example, she is writing. Present perfect. Subject plus has have plus third form of verb. For example, she has written. Present perfect continuous. Subject plus has have been plus ing. For example, she has been writing. Past tense. Past simple. Subject plus second form. She wrote. Past continuous. Subject plus was verb plus ing. She was writing. Past perfect. Subject plus had plus third form of verb. She had written. Past perfect continuous. Subject plus had been plus ing. She had been writing. Future tense. Future simple. Subject plus will plus first form of verb. She will write. Future continuous. Subject plus will be plus ing. She will be writing. Future perfect. Subject plus will have plus third form of verb. She will have written. Future perfect continuous. Subject plus will have been plus ing. She will have been writing. Present tense. Mainly describes present time, regular actions, general truths, ongoing actions. Simple present tense. Subject plus first form of verb. We use this for daily habits. For example, I wake up at 6 a.m. General truth, for example, the sun rises in the east. Scientific facts, for example, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. For scheduled events, for example, the train leaves at 8 p.m. For newspaper headlines, for example, government announces new policy. Negative form. Subject plus do, does plus not plus first form. She does not play cricket. I do not like coffee. Interrogative form. Structure. Do, does plus subject plus first form. For example, do you play cricket? Does she like tea? Present continuous tense. Used for actions happening now. Subject is MR, first form verb, ing. For example, she is reading a book. They are playing football. I am studying grammar. Uses: action happening at the moment. For example, she is talking on the phone. Temporary situations. For example, I am living in Delhi. Planned future plans. For example, we are meeting tomorrow. Negative: subject plus ismr plus not plus first form with ing. She is not studying. Interrogative or question: ismr plus subject plus first form with ing. For example, are you working? Present perfect tense. Past actions with present results. Subject plus has have plus third form. For example, she has finished her work. I have eaten lunch. Uses: recently completed action. For example, she has just arrived. Life experiences. For example, I have visited Paris. Action with present results. For example, he has broken his leg. Time expressions: just, already, yet, ever, never, recently. Present perfect continuous. It shows action that began in the past and continues now. Structure: subject has have been plus first form with ing. She has been studying for 3 hours. They have been playing since morning. Time markers: for, since, lately, recently. For example, she has been working since Monday. Past tense. Past tense describes actions completed in the past. Simple past tense. Subject plus second form. For example, she visited Delhi. They played football. Uses: completed actions in past. Past habits. Past facts. For example, I lived in Delhi, Mumbai. Negative: subject plus did not plus first form. She did not go to school. Interrogative: did plus subject plus first form. Did you finish the work? Past continuous. Actions in progress in the past. Structure: subject was were first form with ing. For example, she was reading a book. They were playing football. Uses: action in progress in past. Interrupted action. For example, I was sleeping when he called. Past perfect. Action completed before another past action. Structure: subject had plus third form. For example, she had finished her homework before dinner. When I arrived, they had already left. Past perfect continuous. Show duration of action before another past event. Structure: subject had been plus first form with ing. For example, she had been studying for 2 hours before the exam. Future tense. It describes actions that will happen later. Simple future. Subject will, shall plus first form. I will visit Delhi tomorrow. She will complete the project. Uses: predictions for decisions made at the moment, for promises. For example, I will help you. Future continuous. Subject will be plus first form with ing. For example, she will be studying tomorrow evening. Future perfect. Subject plus will have plus third form. For example, she will have completed the work by evening. Future perfect continuous. Subject plus will have been plus first form with ing. For example, she will have been working here for 5 years next month. Time expressions used with tenses. Present simple. Always, usually, often. Present continuous, now, at the moment. Present perfect, just, already, yet. Past simple, yesterday, last week. Past continuous, while, when. Future, tomorrow, next week. Articles. It indicates whether the noun refers to something specific or general. There are three articles, a and the. A boy, an apple, the sun is shining. Types of articles. Two main types. Indefinite articles, a and definite articles, the. Indefinite articles, a and. It shows something general, which is not specific. A dog, she ate an apple. Here the dog and apple is not specific. Article A. It is used in the beginning and with consonant sound. A plus consonant sound. A boy, a teacher, a book, a car, a university. Article N. Used in the beginning with a vowel sound. N plus vowel sound. For example, an apple, an orange, an elephant, an umbrella, an R. Here H is silent. Vowels A, E, I, O, U. But article uses depends on sound, not on letters. For example, an R, an honest, a university, a European. Definite article, the. It is used with specific person, place, or thing. For example, the sun rises in the east. The book on the table is mine. Here, the listener knows which book. Uses of the with unique things. For example, the sun, the moon, the earth. The moon is bright today. For known or specific things. For example, the boy who won the race is my brother. With superlative adjectives. For example, she is the best student in the class. For musical instruments, for example, she plays the piano. With rivers, seas, oceans, for example, the Ganges, the Nile, the Pacific Ocean. With mountain and mountain ranges, for example, the Himalayas, the Alps. With newspapers, for example, the Times, the Hindu. With historical periods, for example, the Renaissance, the Mughal period. For with ordinal numbers, for example, the first day, the second chapter. Zero article means no article. Sometimes no article is used. With proper nouns, for example, Ram lives in Delhi. With languages, for example, she speaks English. With subjects, for example, mathematics is difficult. Meals, for example, we had breakfast. With games, for example, he plays cricket. Article rules. Use a and when mentioning something for the first time. For example, I saw a dog. The dog was barking. Use noun. Use the when the noun is already known. For example, I bought a book. The book is interesting. Use an before vowel sound. For example, an umbrella, an honest man. Use a before consonant sound. For example, a book, a teacher. Article summary table. A used before consonant sound, an used before vowel sound, the used before specific or non noun. Elephant. She bought a book. The sun is very hot. He is an honest man. She is a university student. I saw a bird. She ate an apple. The sun rises. Determiners. Words placed before a noun to show which person, thing, quality, possession we are talking about. They limit or determine the noun. Structure. Determiner plus noun. For example, my book, this pen, some water, many students. My brother is a teacher. These books are interesting. Some people are waiting. Types of determiners. There are 6 types of determiners. Articles, demonstrative determiners, possessive determiners, quantifiers, numbers, interrogative determiners. Articles. Articles are also determiners. A and the. For example, a boy is playing. She ate an apple. The sun is shining. Demonstrative determiners. They show which person or thing. For example, this for near and singular thing. That used for far and singular thing. These is used with near and plural thing. Those is used for far and plural thing. For example, this book is mine. That house is beautiful. These flowers smell nice. Those students are late. Possessive determiners. They show ownership or possession. For example, my, your, his, her, its, our, their. For example, my pen is blue. Her brother is a doctor. Their car is new. Quantifiers. They shows quality and amount. Quantity and amount. These are some, any, much, many, few, little, several, enough, a lot of. For example, some students are absent. She has many books. There is little water in bottle. He has few friends. It shows quantity. Numbers or numeral determiners. They show number or order. Cardinal numbers shows quantity. For example, 1, 2, 3, 10. 3 boys are playing. Ordinal numbers shows position or order. For example, first, second, third, 10th. She won first prize. Interrogative determiners ask questions. For example, which, what, whose. For example, which dress do you want? What subject do you like? Whose pen is this? Distributed determiners. They refer to individual members of a group. For example, each, every, either, neither. Each student got a prize. Every child needs love. Either answer is correct. Neither boy was present. Difference between determiners and adjective. Determiners. It limits noun. It comes before noun. For example, my book. Adjective. It describes noun. It gives quality. For example, red book. My red book is on the table. Here my is determiner and red is adjective. Examples of determiners. My sister is a doctor. Some people are waiting. These books are expensive. Many students passed the exam. Each child received a gift. Quick summary. Determiners tells us which one, this, that, whose, my, your, their, how many, 3, several, how much, little, much. Those 3 students are my friends. Modals. Modals are helping verbs used with the main verb to show attitude, ability, possibility, permission, obligation, advice, probability. It modifies the meaning of the main verb. Subject plus modal plus base verb, first form. For example, she can speak English. You should study harder. We must obey the rules. Here modals are can, should, must. Rules. Use the base form verb, first form of verb. For example, he can drive a car. List of modal verbs. Primary modals. Can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, would. Semi-modals. Ought to, need, dare, used to, have to, had better, be able to. Characteristics. Modals do not change their form. Do not take S, E, S, E, D or ing. For example, she can sing. Modals verbs followed by base verb. For example, he must work hard. They should respect elders. It forms questions by inversion. For example, she can swim. Can she? Negative sentences. Subject, modal, not, verb. For example, she cannot swim. You should not lie. He will not come. Functions or uses. For ability, she can swim. Permission, may I come in. Possibility, it may rain. Obligation, you must work. Advice, you should rest. Request, could you help me? Suggestion, shall we go? Use of each modal. Can. It shows ability. For example, she can dance. He can solve this problem. For permission, informal. You can leave now. Students can use dictionaries. With possibility. For example, anyone can make mistakes. For offer or request. For example, can I help you? For negative sentences, can, cannot, can't. For example, she cannot swim. Could, past form of can in some uses. It is used with past ability. For example, when I was young, I could run fast. With polite request, for example, could you open the window? For possibility, for example, this could be the reason. For suggestion, for example, you could try this method. May. It is used with formal permission. For example, may I come in? You may start the test. For possibility, for example, it may rain today. With wish or prayer, for example, may God bless you, may you live long. Might. It is used with weak possibility. For example, it might rain today. With polite suggestion, for example, you might consider this idea. Difference between may and might. May is used with stronger possibility. Might used for weaker possibility. For example, it may rain. There is only 50% chances. It might rain. There is less chances. Must. It is used with strong obligation. For example, you must follow the rules. With duty. For example, we must respect our parents. For strong certainty. For example, she must be tired. With negative. For example, must not or prohibition. For example, you must not smoke here. Shall. Mostly used with I and we. It is used for suggestion. For example, shall we go for a walk? For offer. For example, shall I open the door? For future, old style. It's used in old style. I shall return soon. Now we don't use this type. Should. It is used with advice. For example, you should exercise daily. With duty, for example, students should respect the teachers. For expectations, for example, the train should arrive soon. Will. It is used for future action. For example, she will come tomorrow. For promises, for example, I will help you. For determination, for example, I will succeed. Would. It is used for polite request. For example, would you help me? For past habits, for example, when I was young, I would play outside. For polite offer, for example, would you like some coffee? Semi-modals. Ought to. It is used for moral duty or advice. For example, we ought to help the poor. Need. Used for necessity. For example, you need not worry. Dare. Used for courage or challenge. For example, you dare not speak the truth. Used to. Used for past habits or past states. For example, I used to live in Delhi. She used to play tennis. Modal perfect. Used for past possibilities or assumptions. Modal have plus third form. For example, she must have forgotten the meeting. He might have missed the bus. They could have won the match. Difference between important modals. Can versus may. Can used for ability, may used for permission. For example, she can swim. May I go outside? Difference between must and have to. Must is used for internal obligation, have to used for external obligation. For example, I must study. It's my decision. I have to study. Teacher's rule. It's a teacher's rule. So it's external obligation. Difference between should and must. Should is used for advice. Must is a strong obligation. For example, you should exercise. You must wear a helmet. Quick summary. Can used for ability, permission. Could for past ability, past or polite request. May used for permission, possibility. Might weak possibility. Must obligation. Shall for suggestion. Should for advice. Will for future. Would for polite request. Question tags. Question tag is a short question added to the end of the statement to confirm information, ask for agreement, and continue conversation politely. Statement auxiliary verb plus pronoun. For example, she is a teacher, isn't she? You like coffee, don't you? They are coming, aren't they? Auxiliary verbs in the tag usually matches the tense of the sentences. Rule number first, if statement is positive, tag becomes negative. For example, she is happy, isn't she? They are playing, aren't they? You like tea, don't you? Second rule, if the statement is positive, then tag becomes negative. For example, she isn't happy, is she? They aren't coming, are they? You don't like tea, do you? Structure of question tag. Auxiliary verb plus subject pronoun. For example, she is tired, isn't she? They are ready, aren't they? He works hard, doesn't he? She went home, doesn't she? He plays cricket, doesn't he? Present simple. When there is no helping verb, use do and does, do or does. For example, she likes music, doesn't she? We didn't use do or does here, but we use it in the question tag. They play football, don't they? In negative sentences, she doesn't like music, does she? They don't work here, do they? Past simple. Use did or didn't. For example, he finished the work, didn't he? They watched the movie, didn't they? For negative sentences, she didn't come yesterday, did she? Present continuous. Use is am/are. For example, she is studying, isn't she? They are playing, aren't they? He isn't working, is he? Past continuous. Use was were. For example, she was crying, wasn't she? They were laughing, weren't they? Present perfect. Use has or have. For example, she has completed the work, hasn't she? They have arrived, haven't they? Past perfect. Use had. For example, she had finished the task, hadn't she? Future tense. Use will or wouldn't, won't. For example, she will come tomorrow, wouldn't she? Won't she? They will help us, won't they? Question tags with modal verbs. Same modal is used in the tag. For example, she can swim, can't she? You should study, shouldn't you? They must go, must not they? He will come, wouldn't he? She may come, may not she? He can speak French, can't he? You should help him, shouldn't you? With imperative sentence, it gives order, request, or suggestion. Request. Use will, you, or would you. For example, close the door. Will you? Help me. Will you? For polite request. Pass the salt. Would you? Wait here. Would you? For invitations. Have some tea. Wouldn't you? For suggestions. Use letters. Let's go for a walk. Shall we? Question tags with negative words, negative in meaning, and even if the verb is positive. For example, never, nobody, nothing, hardly, rarely, scarcely. For example, she never lies, does she? Nobody came to the party, did they? He hardly works, does he? Question tag with there. If the sentence starts with there, the tag also uses there. For example, there's a problem, isn't there? There are many books, aren't there? There was a mistake, wasn't there? Question tag with indefinite pronouns. For example, everyone, someone, anybody, nobody. Usually take they in the tag. For example, everyone is ready, aren't they? Someone called you, didn't they? Nobody came, did they? Emphatic question tags. Sometimes tags show surprise, anger, or sarcasm. For example, so you think you are smart, do you? She thinks she is perfect, does she? More examples. She is happy, isn't she? He went home, didn't he? You can swim, can't you? You are my friend, aren't you? She loves chocolate, doesn't she? They finished the work, didn't they? He will help you, won't he? She can't drive, can she? Quick summary. With positive statement, we use negative tag. With negative statement, we use positive tag. For example, she is ready, isn't she? You don't know him, do you? Punctuation marks. Punctuation marks refers to marks or symbols to make sentence clear and understandable. Punctuation helps to show pauses, separate ideas, indicate questions, emotions, and quotations. For example, let us eat children. Here we use different types of punctuation marks. Main punctuation marks are full stop, comma, question mark, exclamation mark, apostrophe, quotation marks, colon, semicolon, hyphen, dash, brackets, capital letters. Full stop. It is used at the end of a declarative or assertive sentence. For example, she is a teacher. I live in Delhi. Here we use dot in the last. So it's full stop. They are playing outside. And in the end of a statement, for example, the sun rises in the east. After abbreviations, for example, Dr., Mr., etc., Dr. Sharma, comma. It's a it is a short pause in a sentence. We use comma in a list. For example, I bought apples, comma, bananas, comma, oranges, comma, etc. Two separate clauses. For example, when the rain stopped, comma, we went outside. After introductory words, for example, yes, comma, I understand. Well, comma, let's begin. With in indirect address, for example, Rahul, come here. Good morning, comma, teacher. In dates, for example, March 6, comma, 2016, 26. Question mark. Question mark is used at the end of an interrogative sentence. For example, where are you going? Question mark. Do you like coffee? Question mark. What is your name? Question mark. Exclamation mark. Used to express strong emotions such as surprise, joy, anger, excitement. For example, wow, this is amazing! Exclamation sign. What a beautiful day! Exclamation mark. Stop! Exclamation mark. Apostrophe. Showing possession. For example, Ram's book, girl's dress, dog's tail. With contractions, for example, do not, don't, cannot, can't, I am, she is. I can't attend the meeting. Quotation marks. Quotation marks used to show direct speech or exact words. For example, she said, quotation mark start, I am happy, quotation mark last. He said, I will come tomorrow. Here we use quotation marks here. Haria said, where are you going? Aman replied, I am going to the market. Colon. It is used before a list. For example, I need things, colon, water, food, rest. Before explanation. For example, he had one goal, colon, success. Semicolon. Connects two closely related sentences. For example, she was tired, semicolon, she went to bed early. Hyphen. Joins two words together. For example, when, known. Mother hyphen in hyphen law. Part hyphen time. She is a well-known singer. Dash. Sudden break or emphasis. For example, I was going to call you. Dash, but I forgot. Brackets. For extra information. For example, Rahul, who is my cousin, lives in Mumbai. We use bracket marks here for my cousin. Capital letters. Important part of punctuation. We use capital letters at the beginning of a sentence. For example, she, S is capital here, is a teacher. For names, for example, Rahul, R is capital, India, I, D, Delhi. For days and months, for example, M, Monday, J, January. For languages, for example, E, English, H, Hindi. Common punctuation errors. W will be capital, question mark. What is your name? Wow, that is amazing. First word, capital, exclamation mark, and Rahul is my friend. R will be capital because it's a name, and full stop at the last. Quick summary. Full stop for end of question, end of sentence, short pause, question mark, strong emotion. We will use exclamation sign, possession or contraction, apostrophe, direct speech, inverted commas, list of or explanation, colon, semicolon, connect related sentences, join words, hyphen. Clause. It's a group of words that contains a subject and a verb to express complete idea. For example, she is reading a book. Here, subject is she and verb is reading. So it is a clause. Types of clause. Two types. Independent clause or main clause, dependent clause or subordinate clause. Independent clause or main clause. It expresses complete thought and can stand alone. For example, she is cooking dinner. They are playing football. I finished my homework. Each of these sentences contains a complete meaning. Dependent clause or subordinate clause. It cannot stand alone and does not express a complete meaning by their own. It depends on the main clause. For example, when the rain stopped, we went outside. Here, when the rain stopped is a dependent clause. We went outside is a main clause. Types of subordinate clause. There are three main types: noun clause, adjective clause, adverb clause. Noun clause works like a noun. For example, it can act as subject, object, and complement. For example, what she said is true. I know that he is honest. That he is honest is object here. Object of verb. She believes that she will come. Common words introducing noun clauses. For example, that, what, who, where, why, how, whether, if. For example, I don't know where he lives. She asked why he was late. Adjective clause or relative clause. It describes or modifies noun or pronoun. It begins with relative pronouns. For example, common relative pronouns are who, whom, whose, which, that. The boy who is playing is my brother. Clauses who is playing. The book that you gave me is interesting. The woman who lives next door is a doctor. Adverb clause. An adverb clause modifies verb, adjective, or another adverb. It tells about time, place, reason, condition, result, comparison. Adverb clause of time. Words used when, while, before, after, since, until. For example, I was sleeping when he called. Adverb clause of place. For example, where, wherever. Sit where you like. Adverb clause of reason. For example, because, since, as. I stayed home because it was raining. Adverb clause of condition. For example, if, unless, provided that. If you study hard, you will succeed. If. Adverb clause of result. For example, so that, such that. He worked hard so that he could succeed. Adverb clause of comparison. For example, than, as. She runs faster than I do. Difference between phrase and clause. Phrase, no subject or verb. It's incomplete in meaning. For example, in the morning, very happy. Clause, he has subject and verb. And it gives complete meaning. For example, when he arrived, she was crying. Types of sentence based on clauses. Simple sentence contains one clause. For example, she is reading a book. Compound sentence, two main clauses joined by conjunction. For example, she is tired but she is working. Complex sentence contains one main clause, one subordinate clause. For example, I will come when you call me. More examples of clauses. I know what you want. The man who helped me was kind. I will come when you call me. She stayed home because she was sick. Independent clause gives complete sentence. Gives meaning of complete sentence. Noun clause works like noun. Adjective clause, it describes noun. Adverb clause, it modifies verb. For example, I know that he is honest. Writing skills. There are so many writing skills, but mainly there are 10. Paragraph writing, essay writing, letter writing, notice writing, report writing, story writing, poster writing, email writing, article writing, diary writing, diary entry. Paragraph writing. It gives one central idea. Structure. Topic gives main idea. Supporting sentence gives details. Concluding sentence summarize or close the idea. Characteristics. Unity, one main idea. Coherence means logical flow. Clarity means easy to understand. Proper grammar and punctuation is needed. For example, topic importance of reading. Reading is a very useful habit. It improves knowledge and vocabulary. Books help us understand different cultures and ideas. Reading also develop imagination and creativity. Therefore, everyone should develop the habit of reading daily. Essay writing. Essay writing is a longer composition that represent idea on a particular topic in an organized manner. Structure. In introduction, it introduces the topic, gives background information. Body. It contains main idea and each paragraph discusses one point. Conclusion. It summarizes the essay and gives final opinion and suggestion. Types of essay. Descriptive essay, narrative essay, expository essay, argumentative essay. Example essay, short essay. Importance of trees. Trees play a vital role in our lives. They provide oxygen, shade, and food. Trees also can maintain ecological balance and prevent soil erosion. Many animals depend on trees for shelter and food. Therefore, planting More trees is essential for healthy environment. Letter writing. Letter writing is a common form of written communication. There are two main types. Formal letters used for official or professional purposes. For example, job applications, complaint letters, leave applications, business communications. Format of formal letter. Sender's address, date, receiver's letter, receiver's address, subject, salutation, body of the letter, closing, signature. Leave application example. Green Park, Delhi, 10 March 2026. To the principal, ABC School, subject application for leave. Respected sir, I am a student of class 8. I am suffering from fever and cannot attend school today. Kindly give me leave for one day. Thank you. Yours sincerely, Ria. Informal letter used for personal